Web colors are colors used in designing web pages, and the methods for describing and specifying those colors. Colors may be specified as an RGB triplet or in hexadecimal format. They may also be specified according to their common English names in some cases. Often a color tool or other graphics software is used to generate color values. In some uses, hexadecimal color codes are specified with notation using a leading number sign. A color is specified according to the intensity of its red, green and blue components, each represented by 8 bits. Thus, there are 24 bits used to specify a web color, and 16,777,216 colors that may be so specified. The first versions of Mosaic and Netscape Navigator used the X11 color names as the basis for their color lists, as both started as X Window system applications. Web colors have an unambiguous colorimetric definition, Srgb, which relates the chromaticities of a particular phosphor set, a given transfer curve, adaptive white point, and viewing conditions. These have been chosen to be similar to many real-world monitors and viewing conditions, so that even without color management rendering is fairly close to the specified values. However, user agents vary in the fidelity with which they represent the specified colors. More advanced user agents use color management to provide better color fidelity. This is particularly important for web-to-print applications. Hex Triplet. A hex triplet is a 6-digit, 3-byte hexadecimal number used in HTML, CSS, SVG, and other computing applications, to represent colors. The bytes represent the red, green and blue components of the color. 1 byte represents a number in the range 00 to FF, or 0 to 255 in decimal notation. This represents the least or the most intensity of each of the color components. Thus web colors specify colors in the true color scheme. The hex triplet is formed by concatenating 3 bytes in hexadecimal notation, in the following order: byte 1, red value, byte 2, green value, byte 3, blue value. For example, consider the color where the red-blue values are decimal numbers, red equals 36, green equals 104, blue equals 160. The decimal numbers 36, 104 and 160 are equivalent to the hexadecimal numbers 24, 68 and AO respectively. The hex triplet is obtained by concatenating the 6 hexadecimal digits together, 24, 68 AO in this example. Note that if any one of the 3 color values is less than 16 or 10, it must be represented with a leading 0 so that the triplet always has exactly 6 digits. For example, the decimal triplet 4, 8, 16 would be represented by the hex digits 04, 08, 10, forming the hex triplet 040810. The number of colors that can be represented by this system is 2563 or 224 equals 16,777,216. Shorthand hexadecimal form, an abbreviated, 3 digits form is sometimes used. Expanding this form to the 6-digit form is as simple as doubling each digit. 09C becomes 0099CC as presented on the following CSS example. The 3-digit form is described in the CSS specification, not in HTML. As a result, the 3-digit form in an attribute other than style is not interpreted as a valid color in some browsers. This shorthand form reduces the palette to 4096 colors, equivalent of 12-bit color as opposed to 24-bit color using the whole 6-digit form. However, this limitation is often sufficient for text-based documents. Converting RGB to hexadecimal. RGB values are usually given in the 0 or 255 range. If they are in the 0 or 1 range, the values are multiplied by 255 before conversion. This number divided by 16 gives us the first hexadecimal digit. The remainder gives us the second hexadecimal digit. For instance, the RGB value 201 divides into 12 groups of 16, thus the first digit is C. A remainder of 9 gives us the hexadecimal number C9. This process is repeated for each of the 3 color values. Conversion between number bases is a common feature of calculators, including both handheld models and the software calculators bundled with most modern operating systems. Web-based tools specifically for converting color values are also available. HTML color names. The HTML 4.01 specification defines 16 named colors, as follows. These 16 were labeled as Srgb and included in the HTML 3.0 specification, which noted they were the standard 16 colors supported with the Windows VGA palette. X11 color names. In addition, a number of colors are defined by web browsers. A particular browser may not recognize all of these colors, but as of 2005 all modern general-use browsers support the full list of colors. Many of these colors are from the list of X11 color names distributed with the X Windows system. These colors were standardized by SVG 1.0, and are accepted by SVG full user agents. They are not part of SVG Tiny. The list of colors actually shipped with the X11 product varies between implementations, and clashes with certain of the HTML names such as green. Furthermore, X11 colors are defined as simple RGB, rather than Srgb. This means that the list of colors found in X11 should not directly be used to choose colors for the web. The list of web X11 colors from the CSS3 specification, along with their hexadecimal and decimal equivalents, is shown below. Compare the alphabetical lists and the W3C standards. Note that this includes the common synonyms, aqua and cyan, magenta and fuchsia, gray and gray. Web-safe colors. At one time many computer displays were only capable of displaying 256 colors. These may be dictated by the hardware or changeable by a color table. When a color is found that is not one available, a different one has to be used. This can be done by either using the closest color, which greatly speeds up the load time, or by using dithering, which results in more accurate results, but takes longer to load due to the complex calculations. There were various attempts to make a standard color palette. A set of colors was needed that could be shown without dithering on 256 color displays. The number 216 was chosen partly because computer operating systems customarily reserved 16 to 20 colors for their own use. It was also selected because it allows exactly 6 equally spaced shades of red, green, and blue, each from 00 to FF. The list of colors is often presented as if it has special properties that render them immune to dithering. In fact, on 256 color displays applications can set a palette of any selection of colors that they choose, dithering the rest. These colors were chosen specifically because they match the palette selected by the then leading browser applications. There were not radically different palettes in use in different popular browsers. Web-safe colors had a flaw in that, on systems such as X11 where the palette is shared between applications, smaller color cubes were often allocated by browsers. Thus, the web-safe colors would actually dither on such systems. Better results were obtained by providing an image with a larger range of colors and allowing the browser to quantize the color space if needed, rather than suffer the quality loss of a double quantization. As of 2011, personal computers typically have 24-bit and the use of web-safe colors has fallen into practical disuse. Even mobile devices have at least 16-bit color, driven by the inclusion of cameras on cell phones. The web-safe colors do not all have standard names, but each can be specified by an RGB triplet. Each component takes one of the 6 values from the following table. The following table shows all of the web-safe colors. The intensities at the low end of the range, especially the 2 darkest, are often hard to distinguish. Color table. In the table below, each color code listed is a shorthand for the RGB value. For example, code 609 is equivalent to RGB code 102-0-153 or hex code number 660,099. Safest web colors. Designers were often encouraged to stick to these 216 web-safe colors in their websites. However, 8-bit color displays were much more common when the 216 color palette was developed than they are now. David Lane and Hadley Stern have since discovered that only 22 of the 216 colors in the web-safe palette are reliably displayed without inconsistent remapping on 16-bit computer displays. They call these 22 colors the really safe palette. It consists mainly of shades of green, yellow, and blue, as can be seen in the table below. CSS colors. The cascading style sheet specification defines the same number of named colors as the HTML4 spec, namely the 16 HTML colors, and 124 colors from the Netscape X11 color list for a total of 140 names that were recognized by Internet Explorer 3.0 and Netscape Navigator 3.0. Blueberry.com notes that Opera 2.1 and Safari 1 also included Netscape's expanded list of 140 color names, but later discovered 14 names not included with Opera 3.5 on Windows 98. In CSS 2.1, the color orange was added to the section with the 16 HTML4 colors as a 17th color. The CSS 3.0 specification did not include orange in the HTML4 color keyword section, which was renamed as basic color keywords. In the same reference, the SVG color keyword section was renamed extended color keywords, after starting out as X11 color keywords in an earlier working draft. The working draft for the CSS4 color module combines the basic and extended sections together in a simple named colors section. CSS2, SVG and CSS 2.1 also allow web authors to use so-called system colors, which are color names whose values are taken from the operating system, for example, picking the operating system's highlighted text color, or the background color for tooltip controls. This enables web authors to style their content in line with the operating system of the user agent. The CSS3 color module has deprecated the use of system colors in favor of CSS3 UI system appearance property, which itself was subsequently dropped from CSS3. The developing CSS3 specification also introduces HSL color space values to style sheets. On June 21, 2014, the CSSWG added the color Rebecca Purple to the editor's draft of the CSS4 Colors module, to commemorate Eric Mayer's daughter Rebecca, who died on June 7, 2014, her 6th birthday. Accessibility. Some browsers and devices do not support colors. For these displays, or for blind and colorblind users, web content depending on colors can be unusable or difficult to use. Either no colors should be specified, or both the background and all foreground colors should be specified to avoid black on black or white on white effects. See also: Adobe RGB color space, CIE 1931 XYZ color space, CIE LAB color space, color tool, list of color palettes, list of colors, ProPhoto RGB, RGB color space, sRgb, wide gamut RGB color space, references. External links: CSS 2.1 color specification, web colors at DMOZ.